Hello guys, we have made it to Albania, more specific the Albanian Alps, in the city or the town called Theth, which has gotten very popular over the recent years, but it doesn't seem like it was very much prepared for it. First we had to drive about 3 hours and cross the Montenegrin border. We drove all the way from Cetinje and now we got here and it looks like a ghost town. But first we had to drive here on a road that I read only bad things about online. Along the way you'll share the winding roads with local cattle and you can stop off at beautiful viewpoints with panoramic views of the mountains. The road wasn't as bad as we read online, just really narrow and a bit sketchy when someone comes from the opposite direction. Very similar to Montenegrin roads. The mountain views were amazing though. We finally arrived after an hour and a half on this road at our lovely guest house Schkoder. Here we stayed at a nice private room with a balcony. We were lucky that we could check in early and now we have come down to town to grab some quick lunch, just have a look at the supermarket, and then we are heading straight to the waterfall because right now it is a beautiful, dry and sunny day, so we're gonna make the most of it. We drove down into the heart of the town where nothing is asphalted yet and we couldn't find anything to eat at all. Only an expensive supermarket selling €5 crisps. Since it was April, a lot was still closed and the hike to Valbonne hadn't opened yet either. So we drove 10 minutes to the waterfall without any lunch. We parked the car on the side of the road and crossed the impressive river canyon to get on the right track to the waterfall. We could start seeing the waterfall from the bottom already. It is very important that you follow the white and red markers along the way to end up in the right place. First you cross the river at the bottom, then climb your way up along the right side, crossing the river again before getting to the top and finishing the climb along the left side of the stream. We kind of missed the crossing, but we got there in the end. Eventually you will be rewarded with this impressive waterfall and stunning views over the valley. The way down, stay close to the river so you don't miss the crossing again, which will lead you back to the car, otherwise you end up on the trail that goes down into town. The trail from the town follows the stunning Blue River and passes some cute locals along with the famous Theth church, which you've undoubtedly come across already during your research. It is a recent and basic church but surrounded by incredible mountain peaks. We then walked along part of the waterfall trail closer to the town to soak up some more river views. To end the day, we had an amazing home-cooked meal at our guest house, which is the main way to get food around Theth. We found out the hard way, but no food all day meant that we could devour most of this. Good morning guys. So after seeing the waterfall and walking up to the church yesterday, we are now on the same road down the valley along the river to go and see the Blue Eye. It is said that we can get there by car, but it is definitely not the best road in the world. There's waterfalls and rivers streaming pretty much across the road, but yeah, there's plenty of other people doing it, so hopefully it'll be alright. It should be a 45-minute hike to the Blue Eye and then 45 minutes back from where we can leave the car. We parked the car at the start of the trail, which during the season you will pay a bit for, so definitely bring cash. I read that from May onward, minibuses bring tourists here for €5 one way, or you can walk all the way from town as well. For some reason, I expected this to be an easy hike, with little elevation, just walking along the river, but that was very untrue. The way to the Blue Eye is very much a climb, but it treats you to some amazing views along the way. If you reach this sign, you get to the top of the Blue Eye along the right or to the bottom along the left, which is what we did. too high, we didn't get to see the eye from above. We could have made the detour to get there, but we had our takeaway breakfast from the guest house instead before making our way back to the start. This went much faster and easier than the way up. Right at the parking lot, you can see these cool waterfalls, which is the perfect way to end a good hike.
We did it! We made it all the way back. It was about a 2-hour return journey. We hiked up a bit longer than the way down. The way down was only half an hour. Up we might have done in 50 minutes. And then took a good break to have our picnic breakfast from the guest house. And we made it back just in time for some rain probably. We managed to get there just before lots of people did, which we started the hike at 9:30. It would be even better to do it earlier, especially if it gets warmer here, because we were sweating. But all in all, definitely recommend the Blue Eye hike.
The drive back to town took us back along the narrow road, coming face to face with other cars and fluffy locals. But we made it, and we then left Theth behind, enjoying our final views of the Dinaric Alps. Around 2 p.m. we arrived in Schkoder. Here we would spend the night before heading to our next destination the following morning. A lovely apartment in town which had all we needed and more. It was really good. Just a bit tricky to find parking.
Excuse my crazy looking hair, that's from the rain. We left Theth just in time when the rain arrived. We actually left early. We were meant to stay another night, but unfortunately because of the bad weather and because we would have had to leave there very early in the morning with bad weather in the dark and going up all those turns, pretty much climbing the mountain with the car. We didn't feel like doing that in the dark and in the rain. So we decided to leave early. We booked a stay here in Schkoder, which is at the lake where we were before on the Montenegrin side. This is a pretty big city here on this side of Northern Albania, and then from here we will drive tomorrow morning to Komani Lake, which otherwise we would have had to be up and out of there around 6 a.m. to arrive in time for the boat at 10 a.m. So now we only have about a 2-hour, 1.5-hour drive up to the ferry that will take us to our beautiful lakeside accommodation. A big mistake that we made in Theth was not bringing any food or drinks because there's only one supermarket. It is expensive and there is not many options at all. For example, a bag of crisps was €5, which is a lot. And we are on a €15 budget per day. So we definitely should have brought food, which we didn't. So our only option was to have dinner at the guest house. We didn't even have lunch when we arrived because we couldn't find anything that was open. The dinner was incredible. It cost us €15, and then we did have a drink, which we paid €2.50 for as well. But it was really good wine, and it was the local Montenegrin beer. So then today, breakfast was included, thank God. We took it along as a picnic, and then we drove here around midday, so we arrived here at 2. This place only cost us €10 a night, which, yeah, I guess we are losing it because we are already paying for the accommodation there. But since we won't be spending that much money on dinner, we simply went to the supermarket and got lots of food for 4 meals per person for €20. So we're pretty much saving that money in food already. So it's all good. And it'll save us time in the morning and make sure we get there safely. Good morning, we are ready to go to Komani Lake. It is now 7:30 and we are meant to be at the ferry by 10, but we are taking a bit more time because we cannot miss it. And then we still need time to get from the parking to the ferry as well. So let's get going.
Once again, the road to get to the ferry port was very, very bumpy. However, this time the road was actually wide enough to avoid the potholes and bumps in the road. It still slows you down quite a bit, but they are working hard all over Albania to make places more accessible for the sudden influx of tourists. We eventually arrived at Blini parking at 9:30 a.m. It is run by a local dad and his daughter, where we parked the car for €5 a day. They also gave us a lift to the port from here. there are multiple companies offering boat shuttles, so they directed us to the right one. The boat was not nearly as big as we expected. It was really small and filled to the brim. As we started our 1-hour boat ride to the Riverside Lodge, it got wet quite quickly. Luckily, my electronics are always in a dry bag, and in the end, I was the one who got much wetter than my belongings, thankfully. Our skipper made a few scenic stops along the way, and the views as you go through the canyon are simply breathtaking. It reminded me of the Sumidero Canyon in Mexico or the Tucson Canyon in Vietnam. We have made it to the Riverside Lodge, where they have kindly given us a free upgrade. We originally booked this private room with ensuite and no view, but got upgraded to this stunning room with a shared bathroom instead. We will be having dinner here at the restaurant as well, which we will pay for. And then the breakfast should be included, which I'm very much looking forward to. Another thing that is included is a small boat tour to the Shala River. We decided to do that on our second day because now obviously we want to enjoy our room with our amazing view. And then tomorrow, after we've checked out at 11, we do the trip to Shala River. And then once we get back, we take the ferry back to the port that we came from. And then we will probably meet our parking host there to take us back to the parking. And from there, go back to Montenegro. We are much more fortunate with the weather than expected. So let's go back out, go and explore around the grounds here and enjoy this incredible color of the water. The color of the water here was just insane, unlike anything I had ever seen anywhere.
We're going on an adventure. Sketchy bridges only. I'm holding on.
The main building is connected to an outdoor lounge area with this cool hanging bridge. We enjoyed these surroundings in the afternoon, lounging around, skipping some rocks, and taking it all in. Best thing about this place is its unique location. If you want to, you can make use of their kayaks as well.
Oh, you're getting too close.
In the evening, we made our way down to the deck for a delicious dinner. This is what they have on offer, so definitely affordable even though nothing else is around. I had the fried trouts and Manu went for the local kebabs, which were delicious. Unfortunately, the time has come to leave our beautiful room, but we aren't leaving the Komani Lake yet. First off, we are going to Shala River after having an amazing included breakfast this morning with some fruits, eggs, cheese, the local beignets, and so on, which was great. And now at 11 we will take the boat to Shala River. After only 5 minutes, we arrived at Shala River, which on first impression was a bit of a letdown. Just like everywhere else in April, a lot of works were still going on and places were still getting ready to open up. I'm sure that it'll look very different in the summer. These were my expectations.
Well, this is definitely not as expected, but we did find a good shaded spots by the river to enjoy the next 3 hours.
After meeting some of the locals and skipping some rocks, of course, we walked about as far as we could and arrived at this magical riverbank. Before we got back on our boat, we got to enjoy watching the other boats navigating this tricky departure. Some did it more smoothly than others.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got it.
And after they were finished, our boat popped up to get us as well and took us back to pick up our luggage. We then got on a bigger shuttle boat, which was even wetter than the first one. We kind of suffered through, to be honest, but it brought us all safely to the port again. We were brought back to the car and started driving back to Montenegro, where we continued our road trip through the Montenegrin mountains, which you can see all about in the next video. Stay tuned for more Albanian adventures this summer as well.